Okay, so when we're talking about lighting for the It, one of the things that we need to think about is the fact that it's episodic. So we're going to be using maybe minimalist designs, definitely abstract designs when it comes to communicating atmosphere for our audience. So when it comes to lighting, do think about time. So lighting can tell us what time of day it is, the atmosphere or the mood, or the location, of course, as well. Now, the different lighting things that we generally look at for GCSE, you've got a floodlight, which produces a wash, and that sort of washes the entire stage with light. You could put gels on it, or you can have an LED, so there's lots of different colours. So you could have a wash, maybe. However, you wouldn't just have a huge blue wash because then everyone would look like Smurfs and that would be a little bit weird and awkward. So you might have some par cans, which are like little general lights that sort of light up a nice area. And then it means you could have a nice blue wash, but you could pick out sort of different areas of the stage and they could be nicely lit with white so that the actors don't look like Smurfs, basically. So you could have par cans as well. You could also have Fresnels. They're spelt Fresnel, so if you think Fresnel in your head, but they're pronounced Fresnels. And these sort of light up a general area of the stage. They also can be focused quite nicely, so you could make them quite a hard edge. You also have like little flappy barn doors on them as well, so you can make them into a square. So that can look quite cool. Like you could make it look like sort of someone's really trapped or something. And again, you could have different coloured gels or different colour LEDs on those Fresnels as well. You could also have a profile light, and this creates a spotlight. So that's sort of the famous one that you see, a nice round circle. You could have a hard edge, which is where it's really crisp and circle, and you can really clearly see where the light is. Or you could have a soft edge, which is like it's kind of fuzzy and warm. Now, one of the slightly more advanced things to think about with GCSE is thinking about the angle of your light. So if you've got something that's lit from above, like that, the audience can definitely see the beam, and only part of you is sort of lit, so particular bits will be in shadow, and that's a very particular choice, isn't it? Almost like someone has chosen them. So it could be, for example, you have like a pale red profile light on Grace at particular points and it's lit from above, and it's almost like we're wanting to focus our audience's attention onto Grace, almost like something really nasty and evil has chosen her. And then potentially as the play gets further and further on, maybe that edge, that sort of focus of it becomes more and more of a hard edge, sort of isolating her from the rest of her peers and her family. You could also have something that's lit from the front, and that just gives a nice general, like I'm clearly lit, I'm clearly seen, and that gives a nice image as well. If you've got something that's lit from below and the light's coming up there, again, only part of me is sort of highlighted. So sort of imagine that old thing where you put a torch under your face and it sort of kind of looks quite monstrous. But also, if you have a light that's pointing up here, your shadow is massive. So again, that could be quite a cool thing to do. It could look quite monstrous. So think about the angling of your light. And if you've got something lit from behind you, you're going to appear black and like a silhouette, which again could create quite a cool effect. So do think about that. You've also got intensities as well. So 100% intensity is when it's really bright. And then 70% is kind of like a good normal average light. 30% is really quite dim and dark. So do think about the percentages. Again, with lighting, you need to be really clear. Imagine that I'm a total moron and you're really trying to describe exactly what line you want that lighting cue to happen, exactly what light you're going to use, the intensity, the angle of it, etc., the color. If you're going to use any gobos, which are like the cut out metallic shapes, you could use one of those. Also, projections count as lighting as well. So you could have, for example, a massive cyclorama, which is like the white fabric or white wall that things can be projected onto. You could either have like a video projection or paintings projected, or like silhouettes or shadows or something. And again, that can help communicate atmosphere for us, can't it? Especially when something is episodic and it changes location very quickly. So remember to give the cue line, because otherwise I'm not going to know when you want your lighting cue to happen, and be really specific and tell me why. What effect do you want to create? Do you want to isolate Grace? Do you want to isolate Sam? Are you trying to show that student 19 is quite important? What are you trying to do? And hopefully that will help you with your lighting of the It. Okay.